Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday. Cheers.
Cheers.
I've got cider and Nate's got
Beer.
beer.
That's what we said we were going to have.
Welcome to Couple and Team Launch Week. What on earth is that? Couple and Team is our online course, and we only open the doors a couple of times a year for about a week or so. And we are in the middle of that right now. So if you are curious and you want to know what that is, we are going to answer some of those things here, but we are also going to have a happy hour weekly check-in chat. And
so, g'day to everyone who's joined us on Facebook.
Oh yeah, hey. And talk a little bit about that too. So do you want to talk about what Couple and Team is, Nate?
Yeah, sure. Yes, Couple and Team is our flagship online course. So it's really designed for couples who have long-term intent for their relationships, who want to learn a bit more about their relationships. And just to really, Couple and Team really helps people have conversations and that they didn't know that they needed to have.
Yeah. So it is totally self-paced, so you can jump in and move through the course at your own leisure. Each module is designed to take about 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how deep you go. But let's talk a little bit about what we're here for.
Yeah. So happy hour, well, Friday afternoon or evening is normally happy hour in our house anyway. But one of the things that we do either on Friday evening when we are having happy hour or
it's usually Sunday.
It is usually Sunday, but Sunday afternoon, what we'll do is we'll just spend an hour or so together and just basically do a bit of a review of the week, work out how we've been going, and then and really just get us set up for the week ahead as well. So we've got a bit of an agenda that we go through, and that always starts off with appreciation. So we just ask the question to each other, like, what would you like to be appreciated for this week?
So this weekly check-in chat is not something that we've always done.
No.
It's actually pretty fresh, like in terms of like the context of our relationship that has been going over a decade now. We've always had like a form of this, but not in a structured way. Whereas since we implemented a bit more structure, game change. And there's a few different variations of this. You may have heard of this idea or concept before, but it's kind of like having a weekly team meeting, like you might in the workplace, around like what are your priorities this week? What are my priorities this week? And how can we help each other to succeed and achieve that? But this has got, I guess, the element of like temperature checking our connection and our how we're doing. So like Nate said, we kick off with appreciation and really taking the time to be grateful for one another. That's something that we've talked about on the Date Forever podcast quite a lot, is this idea of nurturing an attitude of gratitude and training yourself to look for the things that you are grateful for and you are appreciative for and are positive in your life and your relationship. So it's nice to kick off with appreciation. And then we move to
the calendar. So we do a bit of a check-in on what's going on in our upcoming week or week or two. And just basically flick through our calendar, flag anything that might be an issue or anything major that we've got going on, just to make sure we're both on the same page.
Yeah, this one helps us shake out like logistics of like when are we going to need to support each other, or when is stuff going to happen? Like, for example, like we only have one car between the two of us. So sometimes that requires some juggling and some compromise or some collaboration. But what's going on for the week and really helps us shake out any to-dos. Even things like if there's a birthday or a party or an event that we're attending, like who's going to take the lead? Who's going to take responsibility for getting us there, making sure that we've got everything that we need, all of those kinds of things. So it kind of shakes out our to-do list too.
Yep.
So then, my favorite thing, we move to food. How are we going to fuel and nourish our bodies this week? What are we going to eat? When, where, how? who's responsible for planning and the prep and how will it happen? Are we dividing and conquering? And one of us is going to do the food shop and gather the supplies, and the other one's going to execute, or somewhere in between. We quite a few years ago, we implemented a meal kit delivery service that we still use, like not every week, but some weeks. And that's been a really like big thing for us, because having the conversation of like, what do you want for dinner every night was and is exhausting. So we knew that we needed a better way.
Yeah. But I think having actually implemented this happy hour chat, though, like a few of these things all tie into each other. So it's like the calendar, which we just touched on before, like while we're going and doing a bit of a look ahead of the next week or two, we can then work out whether we're going to be flat chat the next week, and whether it's worthwhile actually getting that meal kit delivery service. So basically all of our meals are locked in, set and forget. We don't need to think about them, and it just will happen for us. So a lot of these things that we chat about do all tie into each other and all work really well together.
Yeah, and it shakes out like, are we actually going to be home this week, or is either of us traveling for work, or have we got other commitments going on during the week, like Nate's playing footy training, like are you going to do your thing? Am I going out for dinner? What are we doing?
Yeah. So then the next one that we dive into is money. So obviously the food prep and everything else ties into money as well. So what we normally do is just open up our banking app, see how we're going. Have we overspent the last week? Have we underspent? Do we have a bit of cash to splash around? And what are those commitments that are coming up for us as well? So like somebody said, if there's birthdays and things like that coming up in the calendar, we just do a bit of a check to see like where we're going to pay for those presents for, and things like that.
Yeah, or they're like event tickets that we're going to buy, and all those sorts of things. But yeah, having that opportunity to look at the cash, it's not with judgment. It's like, what did we spend? What do we want to spend? And are we on track with our goals? Like, finance is still one of the biggest things that couples fight about. So for us, creating an opportunity to do a little check at the bank every week really helps us stay on the same page and understand whether or not we're on track or not.
Yeah. So the next thing we talk about is expectations. So what are we liking? What are we not liking? What do you want to try? How are you feeling about your body? Basically just sex chat.
Yeah, and just are we meeting each other where we want to be, or is there something that needs attention? Yeah, so self-explanatory. That'll be whatever's going on in your world with sex. And then we kind of move to a more general chat. Like, how did you feel this week? Was it a good week? Was it an okay week? Was it a bad week? Was it something else? Nathan and I will often find that like we've been going so hard all week that we've forgotten to tell each other stuff. Yeah. Like, oh, this cool thing happened at work, that, whatever it might be. And we use that little opportunity to just kind of update each other and keep each other in the loop of what's going on in our lives.
And then the next thing we jump into is how connected do you feel to me? So like we said, we might have had a really busy week